Tonight, Kelly and I are going to explain to you why we figured out that we can't have nice things.
Bog Panda.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bog Panda. I am Dr. Mike, Ed Official Pagan on everything. Joining me, as always.
Hi, everybody. Surviving yet another thrill ride of a mic intro where I never know what's going to happen. This is Kelly at KELLYTHO on Twitter and Instagram. And if you get a chance, we'd really appreciate if you'd kind of take a look at our channel. If you like the content we're putting together, we really would appreciate it if you would subscribe, maybe turn on that notification bell, take a look at a few videos, leave a comment or two. We'd love to hear from you. Give them a like or two if they're deserving in your opinion, and take a look at our merchandise. Any kind of interaction you can give us will greatly help the channel. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, everything that Kelly said, and make sure you guys are taking a look at our merchandise. So, Kelly, I think I pretty much have you sold on jumping into the Evercade ecosystem at this point, right?
You absolutely do.
Okay.
Struggling a little bit on where that dive's going to be, but it's going to happen.
Well, that was the next question. Are you leaning towards the EXP when that comes out?
So originally I was thinking no, and then I go kind of more with the standard Evercade handheld, and still going back a little back and forth. So what I do know is the Versus is not really filling a niche for me. I definitely need to get in the Evercade space, but whatever else the Versus brings in for me is just not. I got it covered in other ways and other kinds, so I'm kind of good there. So then it kind of comes back to the kind of OG Evercade versus the EXP, and boy, that vertical play is tempting. That just and because it looks incredibly well played out. So once it's actually available and people get some experience, and if it plays as well as it looks like it's going to play, I'll probably go with the EXP, and it's actually tipping me over a little bit more this way because of what we're going to talk about tonight.
Very nice. So same thing here. So I have the original Evercade. The Versus does have a lot of appeal to me, and I think eventually I will be picking one up. Just waiting for the right, time for that. And the EXP is something that I probably wouldn't have considered, but then the vertical play, I mean, as we talked about on here before, it's kind of like they looked at the links and fixed it. The links allowed you to play vertically or horizontally, but it was big and cumbersome and took like 8,000 batteries and played for 15 minutes before those batteries just set on fire and killed your whole family. It was just not a good system to play, but there was great games on it, and that's why it's cool to be able to revisit those on things like Super Console X and things like that, because now you can kind of have appreciation for those games. And another place you can play them is the Evercade. There are 2 Atari Lynx collections on there, so I assume that the first one did well since there's a second volume of that on there. So it makes sense to me that they're making the jump to a more Lynx-like system. And then, of course, with the At Games Mini, you have the rotating screen and things like that. So it seems like a good time to kind of offer a product like that that's handheld. And then they sweeten that deal even more by announcing a Capcom collection. And people went crazy when they saw it.
That are going to be included.
Yes.
When you buy this, you get these. This is not a collection you have to buy. This is basically coming with the unit.
Yes, it is coming with it. The Capcom collection, tons of classic games, Street Fighter games, Final Fight. You're getting Mega Man games on there. I mean, just top tier Capcom titles.
Ghouls and Ghosts.
Ghouls and Ghosts.
42 through 44. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
Excellent selection of games, and it's coming included on your Evercade. I mean, not that I need it much more of a selling point, but that for me is completely seals the deal. There's no question that I'll be picking up an EXP at some point. And I was excited to see other people's excitement about this and geek out with people online. But interestingly enough, I found that there are people who are not excited about this. They don't like the fact that this is coming included on there, and that you're not getting a physical cartridge of it. So there's a lot of videos of people ranting about the lack of a physical cartridge of this, and that instead it's digitally on the unit itself.
Wow. So
that's why we can't have nice things, as I alluded to in the opening.
So we need to manufacture blank cartridges that they can put in when they're playing these included games, so that they're not butthurt and they can feel like they're playing.
Wait, here's the thing. So Evercade is including a printed out instruction book. You're getting a fully printed manual.
There you go.
For the collection that's coming with your EXP. Again, no extra charge or anything like this. Isn't like a special edition or anything like this. Is coming with it just as a bonus for you purchasing this third generation of the Evercade. That's something that most people, myself included, didn't think was going to stick around. And now we're in our third iteration of it. And they're including a printed manual for the physical collectors out there. But that's not good enough for some people. They're mad they're not getting a physical cartridge of it. Now, the one thing I will say, I do think the complaints about that are ridiculous. These are free games that they are just giving you for purchasing the handheld that if you're a big Evercade person, you are probably already going to get. Because why wouldn't you get the latest iteration of the system? What's funny though, that I do understand, ironically, part of the reason that a lot of people didn't think the Evercade was going to last is it is cartridge based. And we're in a time when, we've gone past cartridges, past CDs, into largely digital media for most things. So the fact that they were going all the way back to actual physical cartridges in cases with printed manuals and things like that was something that nobody thought was going to last and thought was maybe a novelty. But it turned out, yes, it's kind of a novelty and a nostalgia thing, but they did it really well and have been very successful at it. To me, though, that doesn't mean they can't do digital games.
Yeah.
They're just also offering digital games. And again, this is free. This isn't something they're trying to sell you. This is coming preloaded on the system.
Yeah. I can't get worked up about it at all whatsoever.
And again, for the collectors, there is a printed manual that's coming with it.
I don't know what to say because it just seems like that is definitely a why we can't have nice things kind of argument. Because I don't get that. And so, yeah. And I had my hesitancy on either the OG Evercade or this, ultimately became, I've got a Nintendo Switch Lite, and it works just fine. I enjoy it quite a bit. And I thought, wow, really, is this any different? Well, certainly the EXP being able to play vertical games. Oh, and having a ton of Capcom games loaded on it to begin with. Another difference. And the third part is the HDMI output and those types of things, which for a Switch Lite, you're out of luck. Switch Lite is exclusively handheld play, no other options in terms of being able to kind of play it on a big screen or those types of things. So this would at least allow me some options there. And I'm not sure if I can cast from it, but definitely it's got an HDMI, so I can kind of connect it up to the grid I've got with everything else hooked up to it and play it on the big screen on the projector down here. So it's going to happen. And I think it'll be interesting to see kind of vertical play on the big screen. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, that will be neat. And all your Capcom games that are going to come with it for free.
Yeah, I wasn't sure exactly where we're going with why we couldn't have nice things, but now I fully support a very sound and appropriate introduction.
Yeah, I was honestly shocked. And again, I do understand that, what's making Evercade stand out and make part of its success is it is unique in that they went back to using cartridges, but they're not the standard cartridges. They have multiple games on them. These are, multi-cade cartridges. Some of them have as many as like 50, 12, 15 games and things like that on there. Some of them, for newer games that are larger in size, there might only be 2 games on there. But these are all multi-game cartridges. So it's not entirely all the way back to that. It's kind of a middle ground where there's a physical product for collectors, but you're not switching out a cartridge every time you want to play a new game. And the Versus itself has 2 cartridge slots. So you can load up quite a few games depending on which collections you're putting in there at one time. So again, you're not getting up and down and swapping out cartridges every time you want to play a different game. So I feel like the Evercade has really straddled that line where it is kind of the best of both worlds. This just feels like another natural progression to that. Like, hey, there is some digital games. We're just going to give them to you. And we're going to give you a printed book with it if you're a collector and you want a physical thing to hold in your hand.
Seems very reasonable to me.
Yeah, it's more than reasonable. And this isn't some no offense to like the early Atari games, but those have been licensed to every platform and things like that. That's not what this is. This is a Capcom collection of major titles.
This is no Atari 2600 Pac-Man.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah, these are top tier major titles that they could have easily charged for on a cartridge, but they're just including it for free with the printed book.
Good stuff. Cool.
So for me, this is not that I really needed much more of a push, but there's no question that at some point I'll be picking it up. Probably not day one, just because there's so many other things I want as well. But I'm definitely going to be getting an EXP. And I'm looking forward to my free Capcom collection that comes with it.
Yeah, and I probably moved from, because I thought about, let's pull the trigger because price point's great. Price point's going to be higher for the XP than the original. And good, I'll just go with the original. That'll be good. But boy, the vertical play was kind of pulling me, and then the fact I'll kind of come out of the gate with a really legit set of good games to play, it just really makes it pretty easy. I'm going to probably go EXP as well. So,
and I assume so with the original and the Versus, there's also different bundle packs that they've offered with those. So when I bought my Evercade, for example, you could get it just the Evercade, 1 cartridge, 2 cartridges. I got the 3 cartridge pack, and it was part of a deal that Amazon had where you got a 4th cartridge with it. So I right off of the bat had 30 games or whatever right off the bat with it. So again, there's probably even going to be bundle packs where you can get even more games included for an extra few bucks. But complain about the free ones.
Yeah. Some people just are never happy. So we'll see. Cool. Anything else for this show, sir?
Nope. That's it for me.
Cool. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like mentioned before, I really appreciate it. Subscribe, turn on notifications, give us some likes. Helps the channel. We'd appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.